Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Kepken and today we're gonna look at our best Destruction Warlock talent tree builds for Dragonflight pre-patch. It's currently 28th of October and pre-patch is still for 1 month ahead of us. It's not like ahead of us, it's gonna take 1 month until we have Dragonflight expansion release, and when an expansion releases, all the builds are probably gonna be way different because we will lose our legendaries, our covenant abilities, and we will have additional talent points. Which means that if you want to have more content like this for now and for then, subscribe to the channel and you will get it. Then we're taking our info from Wowhead, so thanks for them for providing this magically good information that we can learn all together. And let's read a little bit about the author. This guide is written and maintained by Lucy, who plays a warlock in the guild Fat Shark Yes on Kazaki U. I began playing warlock during Siege of Orgrimmar and have been reading actively ever since. I became involved in guide writing during Legion, where I took part in starting the website Lock One Stop Shop, a website by warlocks for warlocks. So yeah, thanks for the guide writers, thanks for the Wowhead links on the article itself, and all the builds that are presented in the article are gonna be in pinned comment below the video. So yeah, I guess let's just go. Destruction Warlock raid talent build. This talent setup revolves around dealing single target damage while being able to change around very few things to then deal some good cleave or AoE damage as well. We get strong on-demand burst with our summon infernal cooldown while being very tanky. The downside of this build is the lack of mobility. There's not really anything we can do about this though, other than play well with the resources we have. So yeah, like general talent tree of warlocks, if you are not familiar with it, is just full of tanky shit, and that's quite interesting how like Blizzard went with it. So you can, if you're gonna go for the article, you can see in key talents which talents are like most important, and otherwise you can maybe like tinker with it yourself. So yeah, let's go and check the talents themselves. So there are some notes. There is one very easy flex talent. Okay, we're gonna look at it after. So in our general talent tree, we're taking Fell Domination, which like it gains you an ability to quickly re-summon your demon. We are taking Demonic Circle, which is one of our like main abilities. Burning Rush is additional movement speed. Fell Armor, when Soul Leech absorbs damage, 10% damage taken is absorbed and spread over 5 seconds. Reduced damage taken, so just tanky. I'm gonna be like this. Tanky talent. Your Soul Leech absorption now passively recharges. Tanky talent. Curses of Enfeeblement. Grants access to the following abilities. Curse of Tongues, which increases the casting spell time of all spells and reduces the target's movement, is Curse of Exhaustion. Yeah, that's our curses. Demonic Embrace. Stamina increased, tanky talent. Demonic Inspiration. Feeling a soul shard increases the attack speed of your primary pet by 5%, so just a little bit of additional damage. Or if you're taking Grimoire, it like increases Grimoire of sacrifice damage by 15%. I don't know if we're taking Grimoire or we're not. So yeah, that's important as well. Then we have Sweet Souls. Your health stone heals you for an additional percent of your maximum health. Any party or raid member using a Hellstone also heals you for that amount. That's very, very cool talent, especially for raids where like there's 10 to 20 to maybe even a little bit more people that are gonna use Hellstones, and you're like you're interested in them using your especially your like the Hellstone to get additional sustain, and again tanky talent. Dark Pact sacrifices part of your current health to shield yourself. Tanky talent in terms of you receiving additional burst cooldowns that gives you shields, even though you're like wasting a little bit of your health. Dark Pact sacrifices only 5% of your current health for the same shield value, so that means that you're losing even less. Again, tanky talent. Now in here we are taking Mortal Coil, so it horrifies enemy and heals you, tanky talent, but we've had like Mortal Coil before as well. But it's just very cool and interesting that like almost all talents are about like your tankiness, about your like healing on yourself, your sustain and stuff. Increases your and your pet's maximum health by 6%. Filling a soul shard increases the damage done by your primary pet by 5%. So as you can see, there was attack speed of your primary pet and damage, and if you're taking Grimoire, it's just additional damage increase. Demonic Gateway is one of our like signature mobility, raid wide, body wide for yourself. Doesn't really matter, that's very good skill. Strength of Will, Unending Resolve reduces damage taken by an additional 15%. So your Unending Resolve is your defensive damage reduction cooldown, and this talent makes it even better. Shadow Fury is your AoE stun. Then Lifeblood, when you use a Hellstone, gain additional leech for 20 seconds, which is definitely gonna help you with self-sustain. Soul Link, 10% of damage you take is taken instead by your pet. Again, thank you, talent. A Grimoire of Synergy. Damage done by you or your demon has a chance to grant the other one 10% increased damage for 15 seconds, which is very, very good for your damage output. Soul Conduit. Every soul shard you spend has 10% chance to be refunded. More resource generation. And Inquisitor's Gaze. Summon Inquisitor's Eye that periodically blasts enemies. Shadow Flame damage, and occasionally dealing a little bit more damage. Lasts 1 hour. So that's like, yeah, that's your additional passive damage income in here. So that's your general talent tree build for raids. And here we're gonna go with Chaos Bolt. Of course, one of our signature abilities. I probably don't really need to say it. Rain of Fire, one of our main abilities for AoE. Conflagrate builds our resources, deals damage, main rotation ability. Reverse Entropy. Your spells have a chance to grant you 15% haste for 8 seconds, which is definitely gonna be just good to have additional haste, have additional more quicker damage windows, says more DPS. Conflagrate reduces the cast time of your next Incinerate, Chaos Bolt, or Soul Flare. That was like that was our passive just by default. Or that was talent. I can't really remember, but like we had this talent before as well. Channel Demon Fire. Oh, that's such a cool talent. That's such a cool ability. It looks hella fun. So yeah, you're like launching you're hurling 15 bolts of Fellfire to random targets around you afflicted by your Immolate. That all deals damage, and that all deals AoE damage as well, which is just like wild and very cool to play with. Raging Demon Fire. Channel Demon Fire fires an additional 5 bolts. Each bolt increases the remaining duration of Immolate on all targets hit by 0.5 seconds. So, and again, you can have even better Immolate uptime on your targets. So are we gonna go and finish like probably this part, and then we're gonna go into center. Reduces the cooldown of Conflagrate by 2 seconds. Yeah, and that's very powerful. That's gonna generate you more resources. You will deal more damage. That's just quite good. Conflagrate increases your Soulfire, Channel Demon Fire, Immolate, Incinerate, and Conflagrate damage to the target by 25%. Soulfire burns the enemy soul. Oh, so yeah, that's one of our like longest cooldowns ability, which deals just massive single target damage. Decimation. Your Incinerate and Conflagrate casts on the targets that have 50% or less health reduce the cooldown of Soulfire by 5 seconds, which means that you will have way more uptime of your Soulfires, and you will deal this like bursty, chunky parts of damage to the enemy. Ruin increases the damage of Conflagrate, Channel Demon Fire, so just straight up damage increase to everything that we currently have. Okay, so let's finish the center part. Flashpoint. When your Immolate deals periodic damage to target above 80% health, gain 4% haste for 10 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. Very good for your opening window on like fighting any raid encounter, gaining additional haste that stacks. Ashen Remains, Chaos Bolt, and Incinerate deal 10% increased damage to targets afflicted by Immolate, which is probably gonna be 100% the case if you're like in raid, and that's your raid boss. Chaos Bolt increases the damage you deal to the target. Again, more single target oriented, heavily single target oriented talents. Diabolic Embers. Incinerate now generates 100% increased soul shard fragments, more resource generation, more Chaos Bolts, more damage. Summon Infernal. Summons an Infernal from Twisting Nether. It like stuns everyone in area where it lands. It serves you for 30 seconds, has 3 minutes cooldown, and damages everyone, generating you free resource as well. Like very, very good talent. Just like one of your signature abilities as well. Crashing Chaos. Summon Infernal reduces the soul shard cost of your next 6 casts of Chaos Bolt, Shadow Burn, or Rain of Fire by 1. So more to like cheaper stuff. Definitely good. A Rain of Chaos. While your initial Infernal is active, every soul shard you spent has a 15% chance to summon an additional Infernal that lasts 8 seconds. And again, more emphasis on your burst windows as damage when you're like pumping everything out while your Infernal is up. So yeah, notes, there is one easy flex talent here, and that's if you take Rain of Fire or Havoc. Okay, so like yeah, here's your Havoc. You can take it as an alternative, or Rain of Fire. In most raid encounters, Havoc is going to be the play because you don't really have more than 2 targets, and if there are a large amount and number of adds, then Rain of Fire is stronger. Yeah, so that's quite obvious one, and it's very early on, which yeah. You definitely wouldn't really have any problems with switching those out. Holy moly, what the hell? Keynotes, okay, Mythic single target build, Mythic plus single target talent build, Keynotes, level 60, Mythic plus with Wilfred's build. Okay. Okay, let's look at what do we have here. So with our baseline talent tree, I see that's okay. Let's look. Everything's the same in the left part of the talent tree, right? Then we go in the same parts in the middle, and yeah. So our general talent tree is the same in here, and let me see with all the like single target. Quite the same. Wilfred's build. Quite the same. So our general talent tree is the same for all encounters, and now we're gonna look at what changes here. And here changes almost everything. Yes, we're taking only a couple of the same talents. We're in single target we went with like in raid encounters we went with left part, and here we're going hard with right part. But I want to look at like your Mythic plus single target build. Oh yeah, that's still, but that's not that different, which means that we will look through this one first. For Mythic plus, you will go a different route, as the raid build is very single target oriented, which is obvious. This build focuses on generating and spending as many shards with Rain of Fire as you can. For tyrannical weeks, you can consider going for a more single target heavy build, especially if big AoE packs are being overkilled by your group. Okay, so that's for your like tyrannical weeks when you have more stronger bosses. Okay, let's compare it to the raid build, and we're good to go. So we're not taking anything that comes with Soulfire and talents that increase it. We're still taking our channel Demon Fire. Roaring Blaze is here. We're taking our Havoc, of course. We're taking Pandemonium, increases. So Havoc is when you're marking the target, and every single target ability that you're casting on someone else is gonna be replicated to that target that has Havoc debuff on them. Pandemonium increases the base duration of Havoc by 3 seconds, and Mayhem has an additional chance to trigger, but we're not taking like Mayhem. Rolling Havoc, each time your spells duplicate from Havoc gain increased damage. Again, more emphasis on you utilizing Havoc in like those cleave situations when you need to damage 2 targets at once and not like big amount of targets. Then we're still taking Flashpoint. Oh yeah, so yeah, this one we're taking these talents instead of these ones. And that's it. Yeah, everything else is stays the same. So more emphasis on you having Havoc, and you're not having Soulfire, which is definitely way more only single target oriented stuff, or only single target oriented like talent. This is more, yeah, this is more. You can make the argument that this spec is better for your group, as you have a large portion of your damage available on demand through Summon Infernal. This allows you to pull up your resources and deal a large amount of damage on either a boss or a high priority target. So yeah, you're gonna either eliminate some specific targets that are like most that are your biggest pain in the ass for your group, or like dealing with bosses. Okay, does this? Yeah, this build is just complete. Oh, so yeah, probably Wilfred's is way more similar with AoE talent build. So that was like your single target oriented build for M+, and here we go with our AoE. This is very AoE heavy build where the objective is to generate and spend as many soul shards as you can. This will proc Avatar of Destruction more often, meaning more shards and more damage and so on and so on. This is a more mobile spec than the single target one, as our main soul shard spender is going to be Rain of Fire, which is instant. Yeah, that's quite obvious. So the same stuff that we're taking is Conflagrate, Chaos Bolt, Reverse Entropy, and Rain of Fire. We're taking Havoc stuff. It's still target affected, it explodes. Oh, and that's like, as you can see, it's another talent in here. So we're taking Havoc, then we take Cry Havoc. When Chaos Bolt damages a target afflicted by Havoc, it explodes, deals part of the damage to enemies within 8 yards. So more emphasis on heavy AoE. We're still taking Rolling Havoc, Flashpoint. We're not taking Eradication, Ashen Remains, and Diabolic Embers. So yeah, like this part is familiar already for us. We've read the skills. Then we're taking increases to our Rain of Fire, Inferno, yeah, just the damage increase, Pyrogenics, again Rain of Fire, damage increase. Improved Immolate increases the duration of Immolate, which is quite handy for you to have it in like when you need to have Immolate on different targets. We're not taking Channel Demon Fire. Fire and Brimstone Incinerate now also hits all enemies near your target for 25% of the damage. So yeah, you're either way gonna use Conflagrates. Incinerates. Oh, that's there. Incinerates in order to like maybe generate some chaos shards, and yeah, and this will like soul shards, and this will grant you a little bit more damage on AoE. Increases the damage of Immolate additionally, and then our final talents are Ritual of Ruin. Every 15 soul shards spent grants Ritual of Ruin, making your next Chaos Bolt or Ritual of Fire consume no soul shards and have its cast time reduced by 50%, but it's like already instant cast if we're talking about AoE part. Ritual of Ruin requires 5 less soul shards, so it's gonna be every 10 soul shards you're gonna have it. And Avatar of Destruction, when Chaos Bolt or Rain of Fire consumes a charge of Ritual of Ruin, you summon a Blasphemy. A Blasphemy summons a Blasphemy from the Twisted Nether, impacting fire damage and stunning all enemies in the area. The Blasphemy will serve you for 8 seconds, deals some damage, generates soul shard fragments. So it sounds quite familiar, quite similar to the Infernal, but it's just a little bit weaker, and it's passive instead of you having like actives. And what we can compare it with, like how we can compare it with Wilfred's build. So Wilfred's build takes you probably other like legendary ability. Okay, so we're not going into fire and brimstone, and we're going way less into Scalding Flames, right? Yes, we're taking Backlash, increases your critical strike chance. So Wilfred's Sigil of Superior Summoning, you need to utilize legendary power. This one, every soul shard you spend reduces the cooldown of Summon Infernal, which means that you really want to have an Infernal, and then that means that you're gonna take Eradication, you're not gonna take Diabolic Embers, or we wasn't, yes, we were taking it. Yeah, so you don't take this, you go into Eradication, Summon Infernal, you're spending less talent points on Fire and Brimstone and Scalding Flames, you're taking Backlash. Yes, and our Havoc, Cry Havoc still the same, everything else the same. So that's your like separate build for other legendary. So yeah, that's all with this build. Again, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you want more content like this. I'm definitely gonna provide it. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a blast playing the game. Hope we will be fine, just fine in like Dragonflight expansion itself. Have a good day. Goodbye.